Yeah, and so that's something that we need to be mindful of in terms of creating access to those products. I think I mentioned in my remarks that we have contributed in 2007 $828 million worth of both cash and products to people who would not otherwise have access. And we're big advocates for legislation that addresses the uninsured and things like the Medicare Part D program. So we need to have a profitable company in order to drive research for future breakthroughs in medicine, but at the same time, we are committed to getting our products to the people who cannot afford them. Thank you for your question.
Pardon me, in finding places in which you can conduct your research to bring forth new products, there are apparently some places that are rather hostile to certain forms of research, such as the use of embryonic stem cells. In your work, have you identified places in the world that are more receptive to certain kinds of research? And what steps has Merck taken to take advantage of the greater hospitality that is being offered in those places?
So from the standpoint of where we do our research, we're looking for the talent that is able to develop breakthroughs and innovations to serve unmet medical needs. It is not driven by the location. One of the things that we're really excited about is the biologics area, and that work is being done right here in the United States. In fact, we just opened up a brand new facility in Durham. So I would not say that at Merck we are looking at how we would conduct our research based on the scientific environment. I also want to remind the audience, I'm the Chief Diversity Officer, not the Chief Science Officer, although I'll do my best.
Hi, Deborah. I want you to talk a little bit about what it's like to enter a room in the course of your work where people are expecting someone with a different physical appearance, and if you have strategies you recommend for others on that.
Thank you. That's a great question. So I have to tell you that to my knowledge, I am the only Chief Diversity Officer in the world who has a visible disability. I go to lots of conferences. I've been doing this work for more than 20 years. And I do find that that's been an interesting aspect of that experience. I was teasing Steve Bugarati the other day when we were on a panel for a SHRM conference, Society of Human Resource Management, because he always gets the question, what's it like to be one of only 2 white men who are chief diversity officers? But I never get the question, what is it like to be the only one that's 4 foot tall and uses a cane? I guess the advice I would give, and I actually wrote about it in the article that was cited in my introduction, Reflections on the Not So Level Playing Field. You know, part of the toolkit that you get when you do diversity and inclusion work is the form that you find yourself in. And I honestly find that it helps me to empathize and understand other people's experiences by reflecting on some similarities in terms of things I may have experienced due to the difference in my life. And then there are things that are very unique to being a little person. Yes, I probably should provide you with some linguistics here. In terms of someone who's short-statured, the very safest thing to do is just refer to them as short-statured. But there's a very popular organization that many of us belong to in the United States called Little People of America. And so, you know, people are comfortable with that terminology as well. My husband is also short-statured, and he likes the word dwarf. And I know we think of, you know, Snow White and the Seven. No, it's actually a medical term. And when you go to a Little People conference, you can buy T-shirts that say "Real Live Dwarf," and all the kids are wandering around in them. So actually there's a lot of pride in that community, just like there is pride in communities of faith, in different cultural communities. And, you know, if I had it to do over again and I could pick any other form to appear on this earth in, I would not have picked a better one in terms of how it's informed my thinking and given me many blessings. Now, not that it doesn't give me many challenges, but it's more about the environment than anything else. And I don't mean the environment people, I mean how tall stairs are and how hard to reach things are, and getting my suitcase off the belt at the airport can be a bit of a challenge. Other questions?
Ms. Daggett, first of all, thank you for your positive spirit. It makes a big difference, and thank you for coming today. Since your time, for my two questions really, are you the first Chief Diversity Officer at Merck? And the second question is, since your time there, since 2001, have you seen a change in diversity at the upper levels of management? The officers, the directors, the people who make the big decisions?
Thank you. Both great questions. So I think I'm the first one who was given the title of Chief Diversity Officer. As I mentioned in my remarks, we've had a really strong equal employment opportunity program and focus on affirmative action since long before I even heard of Merck. So there's a long, proud history there. I think what shifted was the desire to blend both the internal and external focus and really tie things more into the fabric of the business. And so they were looking for someone that could work with an already committed team to make those kinds of linkages and changes. And I was really honored to be asked to do that. In terms of the changes in our leadership, yes, we have seen some growth, but we've set some even more aggressive goals of late. In our most recently published corporate responsibility report, we made it visible to the world that our current executive representation globally of women, which is at our vice president level, is 29%, and our goal is to get to 36% by 2012. We've set some other goals based on availability internally and externally within the United States for representation of underrepresented ethnic groups as well at those levels. So yes, we do feel that that's very important. We've seen some steady growth, but we want it to be more of a leap than quite so incremental, so we're being a little bit more aggressive in that regard.
Thank you for coming, and the question I have is related to your generational global constituency group, and I'm curious to learn more about the two groups that were selected and why, the age groups.
Sure, great question. So once again, it's individuals who are 30 and under and 50 and over, and they are in the same group together. They're not two separate groups. And our thinking was that there's some interesting things going on both in the workplace and in the marketplace with regards to these age groups. We've been reading a lot about generations at work and about how folks who are entering our workforce out of college have some different ideas about things like flexibility and, you know, wearing their iPod while they're working and how their career development should progress. And rather than buy into any generalizations or stereotypes, we wanted to hear from those folks, what do we need to be doing to be the employer of choice so that you'll want to stay with us and grow your skills. At the same time, we know that globally there is a population of people who are nearing retirement age, and they want to continue to contribute and feel respected, and they'd like ways to do some type of knowledge transfer of all of the wonderful experience they've gained throughout their careers to people who are newer in their careers. So one of the things we wanted to do internally is foster this transfer of knowledge between folks nearing retirement and folks starting out in their career. The other thing that we wanted to do is, from a marketplace standpoint, we wanted to understand those activist consumers that both are using technology more than ever before for healthcare decisions. So with the younger crowd, it's because that's how they get all their information, right? Online is the way to go if you want to know something.